Hello everybody, this is Scotty D Gaming and I'm back. Now I do know I completed my playthrough, just like the main story and all the chapters 1 through 5 the other day, but I've been playing this game like off camera and it's been a laugh. Now what happened was, I'll give you a quick rundown, is I finished the game, chilled out for a bit, went on, thought I'd do a bit co-op because I do like co-op games, and I got into this game and I didn't know what I was doing. Someone opened a rift. I went in the rift with them, pressed X on the screen that it asks you to, and this guy was a whirlwind of absolute pain. He, come to know now, it was level 150 rift, and it looks like he just held down a button, like done a whirlwind, and killed everything in one hit. And my levels went flying up. Now I've been in a couple of lobbies where people have been using, I don't know if it's a glitch exploit or if they've just got excellent gear, I'm not sure, but as you can see, my Paragon level is like 876, so that's like super high. Like I think off the first dungeon that I witnessed this, I was like level 300 straight away. So that's the crack on that. But since then, I've just been running normal rifts, and as I've been getting progressively better gear, I've managed, now I can do like level Torment 11 is quite a nice difficulty for me to play on and do rifts, and also the Greater Rift level 50 is like what I'm comfortable doing, like for like being successful. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm just going to show you my build, and then we're going to go and run a Greater Rift level 50, and so you can see how it works. So as you can see, I'm using the Witch Doctor. The skills that I like to use are, on X, I like to have the Acid Cloud with the slow burn modification, because I've went for kind of a pet and like area of effect DPS type of build. Now I looked online and I'm getting hints and tips off different people, but I've like adjusted it with things that suit my playstyle more, and I'll explain those when I go over my gear. So Acid Cloud, slow burn, so you can rain down pain on enemies, and it also works with one of my weapon skills, which I'll explain. Dogs with the Leeching beasts, so you get your health back. Locust Swarm. Now I don't actually use this as a skill, because 300 mana. This build's got no mana whatsoever, no mana regen, so you'll probably see me out of mana, but I don't really need mana. I just need it to cast my Acid Cloud. So the reason I've got this Locust on with this modification Pestilence is because my weapon skill, sorry, one of my, what the fuck is this thing called? Kanai Cube. I've got a modification in there, which as you can see, the ring around my character there, anything that goes in there automatically gets Locust Swarm cast on them, and any modification you put on here also works on enemies. So as soon as an enemy goes within that circle, the Locust spreads to them and spreads to others around the map. So it's just a nice little bit of passive damage and damage bonus that I get to use. I use the Pirhanas. Now, I know when anybody gets caught up on this, they take additional damage, and the Piranhado lures enemies into the centre. But to be honest with you, I know loads of people say, oh, this is integral to builds and stuff. I find it doesn't. It isn't, because one, it doesn't fucking pull enemies in, like, from quite far away. And enemies are normally spread out anyways, unless you get, like, a rift where it's all indoors. So, I honestly think that I would probably be better off using the zombie piranhas leap at nearby enemies. But that's just my opinion, but I am going to stick with the Piranhado for now. So, the next skill I've got is my Wall of Death. Now, I need this skill because of the gear that I'm using. This Wall of Death triggers an absolutely massive damage increase for both me and my minions, and we'll go over that in a second. So, R1, I've got my Gargantuan with the Big Stinker. Now, I'm not entirely sure Big Stinker is the optimal for this build, but one, it's called the Big Stinker, so I like him, he's a legend, and it deals passive area damage around him, so no matter where he is or what he's doing, he's going to be doing damage, and I'm happy with that. Now this one, for my passive skill, I use the Fetish Sycophants. depending on how difficult it is, like I can do rifts that are higher than like Torment 11 or greater rift level 50, and I would tend to go for Spirit Vessel if I'm being a bit careless. But to be honest, I like the Fetish Sycophants and play a bit more carefully because it's just more meat shields and more damage for you that you don't even need to be doing anything to get. And since I will be running in and out of enemies to trigger the area of effect of my Locust Swarm, I'll probably be picking up these anyways. So I like him there. I love the Fierce Loyalty for the speed boost. It helps me get in and out of trouble really fast. I like to have the Zombie Handler, an extra zombie dog for damage, and also the zombie dogs that I'm using are the health giving back ones. More health coming back to me. And then finally the Midnight Feast. Extra 50% damage to dogs in Gargantuan and another zombie dog. Happy days. And on the Kanai Cube, the 3 powers that I've got were one from the Staff of Wormwood, which Locust Swarm continuously plagues enemies around you. That's what we've been talking about. So although I've got the Locust Swarm skill on my skill bar, I'm not actually going to be casting it and wasting mana, because this is going to do it for me. The Mask of Jeram. Pets deal 100% increased damage, because I've got kind of a pet build, so I want them to do as much damage as possible. And finally, in the ring slot on the Kanai Cube is the Short Man's Finger. Now, this, whenever you cast Gargantuan, instead of having the one big guy, you get 3 little guys which do more damage than a single big guy each, I believe, for each one. So it's a no-brainer really. Now, I have been quite lucky. I'm going to go over the gear and explain what I've been lucky about. I have been quite lucky on my gear. Now, when I was researching on the internet, I'd already had a SuWong Diviner. Now, I had like a subpar version of this. I actually think it's still in my storage box. But when I was searching for the Wormwood staff, which what I'd do is, I would craft this staff and then take it down to here and upgrade rare item. When I was doing that to try and get a Wormwood staff, I happened to come across this SuWong Diviner, which is an ancient version. I was really lucky. Now, the reason that I want to use the SuWong Diviner as my main weapon is because Acid Cloud gains the effect of the Lob Blob Bomb rune, which means since my Acid Cloud does cold damage, the Lob Bomb rune actually searches out for enemies that don't necessarily fall within the area of effect, and it does poison damage. So that's cold damage and poison damage covered. Oh, and that's another thing I'll quickly go over, just I've remembered. On my Wall of Death, I've read that if you want the massive stack of DPS, all different elements, you probably want to go for the Rays of Wall of Flame. Now, I don't like this because on the console version, it just gets targeted to the enemy that you're currently highlighted, whereas on the PC version, you can actually select where you want that line to go. I feel that I keep messing with them all the time, so I stick with the Ring of Poison because the area of effect is massive, and I believe that I catch more enemies in it. So yeah, fair enough, my DPS might not be the highest because I'm using poison doubled up, but who cares, I hit more enemies with it. Okay, so back to the gear. For the gloves, most of my gear is the Helltooth set. Now, it's not optimal, a lot of it's not even ancient, but it works and it gets the job done. So as long as you can get any 5 pieces of the set, I would say go for the gloves, the harness, the chest piece. Don't go for the helm because this is the helm that I'd explain to use. So you want the gloves of Helltooth, pants of Helltooth, gloves, shoulders and chest. Now for the head, what you want is you want the Grin Reaper. The chance when attacking to summon horrific mimics that cast some of your equip skills. Now since I run out of mana quite frequently, well not quite frequently, like it's not going to slow down my damage anyway because I've always got pools on the ground. Sometimes, quite often, you'll turn into a skeleton and a skeleton or two will get summoned next to you, which is an identical build to you. So whatever they cast, they could cast Acid Pool, they could cast Acid Rain, anything, for free for nothing. They can cast a Piranhado for nothing, which absolutely massively boosts your DPS, and it all benefits for any damage boost you've got. Phenomenal. Now for the other set piece that I use the Traveller's Pledge, because while moving, damage taken is reduced up to 50%. Now I'm always moving. You'll see that I'm always on the move, keeping out of trouble. But also, while standing still, damage dealt is increased by up to 100%. Now that's a nice little bonus when you're just mucking about. But in Rifts, I tend not to get the damage bonus. I'm more on the defensive side. And because these are one of the only sets that I've found that I can use at the minute. I do know there's the other set called Focus and Resilience or something, but I haven't found that yet, so can't use it. The ring that goes with the necklace is the Compass Rose, and that just allows you to get both bonuses. For the other ring, I use the Ring of Royal Grandeur. Ring of Royal Grandeur. Grandeur, you fucking slag. Right, now the reason I'm using that is because I want to get the full bonus of the Helltooth set. Which, 1. Enemies hit by any of your main skills, Acid Cloud, Zombies, Zombie Dogs, and Piranhas Wall of Death, are afflicted by Necrosis, which make them slow. They take 1500% weapon damage every second and 20% increased damage from your attacks for 10 seconds. Now that's always going to be up because enemies are always going to be damaged by one of those skills. Number 2, after applying Necrosis to an enemy, you take 60% reduced damage for 10 seconds. So pretty much every time I'm walking about, I've got 60% reduced damage. That I can't damage reduction, 60%, unreal. And finally, this is the one that, if you haven't got the full bonus of this set, your damage is going to be massively gimped. It's this last one that boosts everything. After casting Wall of Death, right, which you're going to be casting all the time, you gain 1400% increased damage for 15 seconds to all of your primary skills. Zombie Dogs, Gargantuan, Grasp of the Dead, Piranhas and Wall of the Dead. Those are our skills. Our pets are going to be doing phenomenal damage, and you can see how fast they kill things. It's ridiculous. And I think last but not least is, I happened to roll this also when I was actually looking for the Belt of Transcendence, which spawns the Sycophants. I still haven't got one to this day, but I did come across this in the process, which is the Hwoj wrap. Locust Swarm also slows down enemies by 80%. Now, for survivability, that's amazing, because since I've got that aura of Locust Swarm that spreads to everything on the map, everything walks in slow motion, so I can get the fuck out of there if any problems do arise. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. So that's everything. Now my damage, I've got 911,000. I've got 9,824,000. That's a bit of a fucking weird one. Armor and 1,049,000 fucking health. So you can translate that into normal numbers, whatever the fuck. I'm not a mathematician, so fuck that. Right, that's everything. So I'm going to open up a level 50 rift and see if I can complete this within 15 minutes. Hopefully I can, otherwise I've been talking shit. But it shouldn't be that problem. Highest achieved, you can see level 150 because some glitcher or some absolute legend dragged me through it, which I'm not bad. Happy days. Select level. I've got no idea how you would do anything of this level. Like, legitimately, I really don't. Come on, level 50. Now level 50 is a nice run. It means you can run through it, get loads of good gear, and upgrade your gems. Now that's one thing I haven't put on any of my armor, is any legendary gems. I haven't decided what I want yet, and I'm quite indecisive like that, so I'm going to leave that for later. So what we're going to do, there we go. Level 50, Torment 11, boosh. Let's hopefully you can do this without dying. Right. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, I already cast a skill. I turned it to a skeleton straight away. First thing I'm going to do is cast get everyone in there, cast the tornadoes, and then start spamming the acid pool damage. And I'm just going to be running around collecting any globes that appear. while also casting the Wall of Pain, Wall of Death, sorry, whenever that comes available. And that, fuck me, I'm already dead. Resurrect that corpse, it doesn't really matter. That's why sometimes I like to keep the, what do you call it, the resurrection up, because it is a bit of a glass cannon. Right, there we go. Collect these. Boom. Now it is a bit of a challenge, but I like that. I don't just want to breeze through this. I can understand if you want to go for like fast runs and stuff, but I like to have a bit of a challenge as well. So as you can see, I'm running in and out. So it casts the Pestilence on these items for a bit more damage. I'll collect this.
Need more time.
Railing down hell on these bitches. Collect all these. Whoa, fuck me.
Needs more time.
So the only thing that's really gonna ever be like a problem for me is champions. Anything that casts like you know them spells. I can't even hear myself think 'cause I've got my headphones in, sorry. But any area of effect spells like ice or anything that appears next to you, you don't want to get caught in that. It's so easy to die, and that's what happened to me at the start there, where I was being a bit flippant, running in like a dick. But normal, regular enemies, you should just be able to cut through like butter.
Not ready yet. Needs more time.
Oh. Right, where do we need to go? Down here? Come on, we're right on the time, we need to speed it up a bit, but we should if we encounter any champions. Go back in, fuck that, kill these. Right, let's go. Where's the fucking enemy?
Perfect strike. Not ready yet. Need more mana.
Now the reason we collect the double damage globes is because that just gives more damage to my minions, who, as you can see, are the meat shields. They're taking the blunt force.
I need mana.
I need mana. Oh, now this is what you want to watch out for. Them globes, you need to avoid them like the plague.
Needs more time. Need more mana.
Any area of effect, get the fuck out of the way of them.
You are evil undoes me. I do not have enough mana.
I do not have enough mana. Story of my life.
Need more time.
There we go. So as you can see, we are getting ahead of the timer. I was a bit skeptical at the start. I was like, shit, I've just been chatting shit for the past fucking 15 minutes.
I need mana. You are dead.
You are dead. As you can see, the skeletons are casting spells, so it's kicking right the fuck off.
My strike is true.
Right, avoid them area of effect spells because they will absolutely wanna me. And since I'm not running the revive passive, I do want to be careful.
Needs more time.
Boom, look at all them caught in the whirlwind. Fuck right. Fucking right, slag.
Need more mana.
And you can see the little globules hunting enemies even after the enemies have all died in the area.
Not ready yet. You are evil, Uncle.
And it's really hard to tell because there's so much going on the screen, but all of the enemies that are affected by Locust Swarm are slowed, so they find a really hard time chasing after me.
Needs more time. You are dead, cops. I need mana.
I'm sure you do, mate.
Need more time.
Bit of Sharknado there, get in, cast the plague, get out. Get that double damage.
Perfect strike.
Now as you can see, I'm running about and I'm actually casting the acid cloud in different areas so it affects all the people. Get these health double damages.
Not ready yet. I do not have enough mana.
Yeah, baby. Right, let's get into the next area. Cause some more pain.
Needs more time.
Now them purple arcane fucking beams, avoid them as well. They are lethal. You do not want to get caught in them. Unless you've got the skill that makes them fucking trivial. We should be getting the Rift Guardians soon. And we've got plenty of time to kill them, hopefully. Get in there with a plague, lovely jubbly. Come on, get in.
I need mana.
Oh, dead end. Seeing the run speed really helps you get through these rifts, which I like.
Not ready yet. The
Rift Guardian, where is he? Is he down here? Come on. Oh, fuck mate, there he is. Try and...
Needs more time.
Boom. Now, if he drags you in, get out of there as fast as possible. And he's dead. Piece of piss. So there we go, we've got some canny items, we've got a couple of rares, and sorry, a couple of legendaries and a set piece. Right, so the gems that I'm busy upgrading are, I was going for that. I don't know why, I'm not entirely sure how it procs. Poison all enemies hit for 3,250 weapon damage over 10 seconds. All enemies you poison take 10% increased damage from all sources, so that could be good because I do poison a lot of things with this build. And the Enforcer, because it increases my pet damage, but it's only 22.8%, so I'm not entirely sure I want to continue upgrading that. But this one increases damage against enemies under the effects of control impairing effects by 15.9%, so I'm going to be upgrading this till around 25. There you go, so we'll head back to base. This is the build that I use to make this level 50 Greater Rift pretty trivial. Like, as you can see, fair enough, I died at the very start for being careless, but if we had a switched off, and to be honest, I don't even think that triggered very often there, so I probably would have been better off by using the fatal damage one. I'm actually going to equip this for next time. So yeah, so that's the build I use. It's, you're happy on Torment level 11. You can do Torment level 12 as well. It's just a lot harder, like the difficulty jump's quite big. And you could probably go talk to him.
A fine battle.
Close that rift. I think you probably could do 55 or 60, but you'd have to be, I'd say 55 would be probably my limit of doing it, because doing that rift there, I got enough time ahead to allow me to take out the Rift Guardian, and it still took us a good 10, maybe 30 minutes. I had about 2 minutes spare, I think. It's just a nice happy medium, difficulty, reward, and yeah, there we go. So that's everything. I've chatted shit for half an hour here. Hope you've enjoyed. In a bit, lads.